Live from BowTie Barbecue, this is the Danny Britt Show. Christian Gokel, glad to have you alongside for what promises to be an unbelievably exciting football season. And alongside me, as he always is, the head man, four-year cadet, enter year 14?
15.
15.
15
Does it seem like 15?
It doesn't. No, it does not.
And again, an exciting year coming up, coming off of a couple of very deep playoff runs. But, of course, BC has gotten used to the taste of winning championships, and that's what's on the menu for this season. But, Coach, just looking at it coming out of last season, another deep playoff run, and something we spoke about a lot last year was a lot of young talent. And building programs in high school football, it feels like it's about those 4-year cycles where you just need everything to kind of line up at the right time. Sitting here in July, it feels like that could be one of those years.
Yeah, definitely. We're a very talented group, and we've had some guys that played a lot of football that will be seniors this year, and so it's exciting. We have some depth in areas, but it's fragile. So that's a concern that we have every year.
And just me. We've talked about this before. I watch football from the line of scrimmage out. And last year, one of the strengths was seniors across the entire line.
Right.
But where that kind of becomes a fault is once they're all gone, you're having to replace 5 spots across the line of scrimmage. What's that process been like? You guys bring in Pat Fogarty as offensive line coach, shuffle some staff around there. But what's that process been like? Not just 1 or 2 starters, but 5 guys across the line.
It's been interesting, actually, and we have about 11 guys that are vying for those 5 spots. And what that's created is a little bit of depth, at least as of now, the way we see it. Guys have worked really hard, and competition is great. They understand that you don't rotate in a lot of different offensive linemen. It's kind of a thing. Once you get in there, you get a synergy together, and you and then you kind of let that go. So these guys have been working hard, and we have a good group, good young group that is hopefully ready.
And we're going to go kind of position group by position group here a little bit later in the show. But, again, it's one of those things as a coaching staff where you guys know the talent that you have, and then you bring in a guy like LaDainian Guyton who transfers in, and you have these guys like a Bubba Frazier who's committed to Notre Dame now, and we've seen just him kind of ascend the ranks of Georgia high school wide receivers. For you guys, it's not so much about developing talent now. It's how do you streamline and get the ball and put those guys in positions. What kind of challenges does that present?
Oddly enough, it does present challenges because you want to run a system, and you want to and be systematic, and you do one thing to set up another thing, et cetera, et cetera. But then you just want to get the ball in certain people's hands too. So you have to work all of that together. Coach Phillips is very good at that and understands that, and very smart. So we'll hopefully get the ball to the guys that we do with running our system.
Well, I want to start on the opposite side of the ball. We've talked about the offensive line a little bit. We'll talk about some of the players in particular, but I was talking to Kevin Thomas, the voice of BC Sports, coming up this fall, and it feels like you remember when the Miami Heat got LeBron,
right?
And you bring in Chris Bosh, and you already had Dwayne Wade, and you have all these other guys. People think back and they remember all the championships, but when that first started, you kind of trying to figure out how to get who in what position and how to score and how you're going to get all those guys playing. What's cool is these guys have played together for a few years now,
right?
Where you have the Bubba Fraziers, you have the Stanley Smarts, the Josh Washingtons out there, Ron Mallard. They've played. AJ DePhilip's been able to call some plays and dial up some stuff for him. So you kind of have that to lean on. Do you feel like you guys have kind of taken a step in that?
Definitely, and I think it's a number of things. We run a multiple offense, and that helps us be able to kind of move guys around and use their abilities, that is best suited for them, and that really helps us. So they have kind of worked together, so we can do a lot of different things. Bubba can line up anywhere. Josh can go inside, outside. Aaron can go inside and outside. So these guys can do a lot of different things.
I want to start with the two kind of leaders on the offense, Bubba Frazier and Stephen Cannon, 2 guys who have been in the program for a long time, have been cadets since they were little guys and kind of known this is where they wanted to be. Now they're coming into their senior year, a little bit of added pressure to that, I think, for those guys, right? Where it's the legacy of the Holden Gerners, of all the guys who have come through the Luke Kromenhawks who have had such success. Now it's your turn to be the guy who comes out there. You're a freshman, it seems like a blink ago. Now you're the senior leading the way. How have they kind of stepped into that role?
Yeah, they've led very well. Neither one of them are necessarily, big time rah guys. Not going to be very loud. Bubba's probably a little more talkative than Steven. But they've done a good job of leading and first of all, by leading by example. You know, they're there every time, every day, working hard. It's never adjusts, never changes. They show up, they work their behinds off every day and committed to the team. So that's the main way they've done it. But you're right. I mean, they can feel a little added pressure. This is it, and this is our time, and that sort of thing. I'm sure they will, but right now it doesn't appear that way.
And I know what really makes it easy for a quarterback and for a wide receiver to kind of make a connection is a strong run game. And Stanley Smart back for another year. We really saw him develop into a running back. We've known he's a special athlete for a long time, but it seemed like as the year went last year, he really became what you talked about from the beginning of the year, which is hit the hole and then make a move kind of a guy, and exploded on some long touchdown runs last year. Having him at the top as kind of the bell cow guy, you got some depth in that running back room as well.
Definitely. Stanley has really developed, and he's almost 200 pounds now, and running that 10-6 and is really, really strong, and had a great offseason, and so we're excited about seeing what he'll do. And he can do a number of different things, but we have all of those guys could also go that I mentioned earlier, can go to that running back spot, and along with some other guys that we have, CJ Menzie and Stokes is stepping up, can be, the running back as well. So we have a number of guys that we're anticipating being able to carry the ball.
And in the wide receiver room, I think when you kind of look at this offense and you start talking about all the guys, the guy who kind of gets lost in the wash is Josh Washington, but I feel like he's got as much D1 talent as anyone in the area.
Josh is a very talented kid, and we have big expectations for him, and he does sometimes because maybe, he's not the 4.3 guy that Bubba is, but very athletic, very fast. He's had a great off season. Josh is, he told me he was committed to, this team and wanting to win a championship and just really didn't want to miss a thing. So he's worked his behind off, had a really, like I said, all season, really did some good things at the 707 camp that we went to, just kind of stood out that he's dialed into what we're doing.
Him and Mekhi Williams, two of those guys where it doesn't seem like they're running fast. It kind of looks like they're running in slow motion, but they're separating for everybody.
Very smooth. They are very smooth in their transitions and how they run.
And I know two really important positions for you guys, the slot back kind of position from your days in under center with the wing, but also you have the tight end, which it seems like it's got a little bit more prominent the past few years for you guys. What are those groups looking like?
Yeah, definitely. Those slots, are the, Aaron Mallard and Cole Henderson are stepping into that. That can also be Josh and Bubba, can do that too. We can adjust and they go in there and, which we'll do some. So they very athletic group, very fast. We won the 4x1 and 4x2. All of these guys are on the same, backfield, which is pretty cool. They've done a good job with the tight end and H-back spot. Bennett Conaway has had a really good offseason as well, has developed. I mean, he shot up to almost 6'3" and, about 215 pounds and just really moving well and is doing good. And then Jaden Houston will work into that role some too. He's going to primarily a defensive player, but he'll work into that role some too.
Which for you guys, that could be an inline tight end, that could be an H-back, a fullback. Just you're
going
to be blocking, and you might get out on a route every now and then, but you just got to be physical and kind of hard nosed.
Yeah, got to be physical. Conaway is definitely athletic. He can catch the ball well, catch it, and make things happen in space. So, hopefully we'll have a big year from him.
So looking at this group, I know you're a defensive guy. Just kind of when you're playing the red team, when you're trying to attack what you guys are doing on offense, what are you seeing right now that, hey, we got to work on this if we're going to be as efficient as we can be?
I don't think there's one specific thing we have to work on. I think it's been, to this point, we've covered it pretty well. What we wanted to do is be more physical at the point of contact with our primary offensive line. Then you go into the tight ends and the backs, that sort of thing. But so we've spent a lot of time this offseason working on that, talking about that, drilling that into their head. We just want to be overly physical at the point of attack, low hat, and come off the ball. And that is one thing that hopefully you'll see a difference in.
Does that start with a mindset play calling wise too, where it's, hey, we got to be physical, even if it feels like we're banging the head against the wall a little bit?
To a certain degree, yes. I mean, there will be times where, Coach DePhillips will just say, hey, we're doing this. Yeah. We're going to do it whether you like it or not. We have to be able to do this to set up everything else.
And again, we got a lot of time to talk about what this offense is going to look like. But going back to Stephen Cannon, gets injured last year, tries to make a comeback there in the final game of the season against Blessed Trinity. Just you could tell wasn't 100%. But now with a full offseason to recover, we saw glimpses last year just how special he is. The reason why Texas Tech came after him as hard as they did. It's a blend kind of, we talked about Holden and Luke, where he can move with his feet and he's got a really talented arm. Maybe not as big of an arm as either one of those guys and maybe not as fast as some of those guys, but I think maybe more accurate and it can kind of layer the ball better than anybody around in high school football right now.
Yeah, definitely. He throws a very catchable ball and he's got a good mind for it. He's very good with the progressions and putting the ball where it needs to be. Along with his extreme athleticism, his best football is definitely ahead of him. He is going to be exciting to watch.
And for you as a head coach, having a senior quarterback, that just has to alleviate a lot of pressure, just because getting in the right formations, getting in the right protections, making sure people are lined up, that has to take a lot off of you guys on the sideline.
Definitely. I mean, he can do a lot of things. We like to go fast. We like to do a lot of different formations, a lot of movement, and he has played enough ball now to be able to manage that.
Well, Coach, to say iron sharpens iron, and he gets a chance to play against some Division I talent on the other side of the football with the defense. And I know I want to start on the back and come towards the front because the front's really special. But the back side, you have a lot of guys who have played a lot of football for you guys. And just knowing you have four guys over the top that allows you to get creative with the front seven has to be pretty special.
Yeah, definitely. They're a good group themselves and can move well, and but they're excited about having guys in front of them that can cause a lot of havoc, and so Estabrook at safety and Mackay at the other safety are talented kids who we expect to have a big year.
And you can coach playing the coverages, reading the quarterback, and getting up and tackling, setting the edges. You can coach all of that. But one thing I think is pretty special about this group, it seems like they all have a nose for the end zone.
They do. That's pretty crazy. We scored a lot on pick sixes and fumble recoveries, and they're all athletes. They're skill players that like to hit a little bit more maybe, and so they're special athletes themselves.
I'll let Bubba Frazier here. He's going to ask to play corner.
Well, he will be playing some corner actually.
Well, Coach, stepping up. Let's start at the line of scrimmage because I know you got to be excited about it. And the guy we talked about, people who played a lot of football for you guys, Cam Cody. Has played about just as much football as anybody else on the team.
Right.
And when you have that guy at the center of the attack where it's going to take two or three people that they have to commit to him, it's got to be fun calling plays off of that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And he can do so many different things. We're talking about wreaking havoc. I mean, my gosh, it's just he can do a lot of different things and will cause a lot of double teams and triple teams. So the other guys ought to be excited about having that for sure.
And I know when we play teams or when when fans are watching, hey, Benedictine's on the schedule, let's go look at their roster. And you kind of go look on 247 and see who people are committed to. You see the nose tackles committed to Clemson. It's like Alabama, you think some wide receivers.
Right.
Georgia, you got running backs. If a defensive lineman's committed to Clemson, he's a dude.
Yeah, no, he's a dude for sure. And Cameron is a dude.
Yep. And now the new addition on the outside, Coach Guyton, you got to be excited about him because I heard you in an interview this past week. Everybody has him slotted as an edge, and that's probably where he'll end up playing in college.
Right.
But in high school, you're going to be able to move him all over the field.
Definitely, and he'll definitely, we'll see him come off the edge, and he is special with doing that. But he can do everything. He can play wherever. He's very athletic. He can play in space. So we're gonna showcase that some too. And I can tell you, he's special. From the first scrimmage we had the other day, I was like, wow, he's different.
And if you had to kind of give him like a player comp, I know watching some of his stuff for the past few years, just that long rangy kind of feels like a Leonard Floyd kind of a guy.
Yeah, definitely. And he's bigger than you think he is. He's 238 pounds and of sheer muscle. And it's freakish looking, to be honest. But Leonard Floyd would be a great example, yeah.
And so if you are calling the offense and you're trying to set up a way to block these guys, I mean, that's got to be a nightmare.
It's got to be, and not like the other guys are bad that are mixed in there. So you got those two absolute special, 4- and 5-star guys, and then some other good football players mixed in there. So it's going to be tough for people to block for sure.
And so he'll be playing that edge, and he'll step in on defensive end, I'm sure, in some spots. But when you guys are going base and you have Cam in the middle at that nose, who are going to be the guys to his right and his left?
Isaac Scott is back. If you remember, he got injured in the first game right behind Carlton Hall last year, and just really was devastating to us. And never really he tried to fight back and was given the clearance to play a little bit, but just never really could get back. So he had surgery in the offseason and has come back really strong. It looks great, physically very strong. So we're excited about him. Gavin Smith, who ended up coming in and playing for those guys. He actually came in and played in that same game for Isaac and for Carlton when they went down, and so it was kind of thrown into it, but learned a lot as a sophomore and got better and better. He's physically gotten a lot better this year. So those are the two primary guys, and then of course Jameer Lee will rotate at any of those spots. Who's a Division I offer guy with like 5 offers, and he will kind of be the rotator between every one of those spots he can play on. And he's big. I think he's up to almost 270 and very athletic.
Yeah, he can move. And I think one of the common denominators with all those guys is beef. You got some big guys.
Right.
And I think playing 4A, which is really kind of become pseudo 5A once they smushed everything down when they chopped off 7A.
Right.
I think you have to have that if you're going to compete, especially with the kind of schedule you guys have this year.
You do. You have to have it, or you're just going to get demolished. And that is the difference. You're playing people with a lot of big guys, a lot of strength. So it's very difficult.
Well, Coach, let's take a step back to that linebacker core. I know, again, some guys who have a ton of tackles already in their careers, and this is a group that it's kind of become the silent college production factory, where you have some guys who are going to, you think back the past few years, the amazing linebackers you've had in the inside. You got 2 more in there right now who just kind of fill in that role. They're guys who are going to play behind some big guys on the defensive line and rack up a ton of tackles.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, one of the main guys, Larson Little, who's played a ton of football. Right. He's really started since he got here. Unfortunately, he broke a bone in his foot this summer, and almost a walkthrough type situation. So he's been hobbled a little bit. So we may not have him early, but he'll be back soon in full speed. Jaden Houston will step in that other position, and just huge expectation. He's had a great offseason, and he's physically. I was fussing at Coach Houston, his dad, the other day about he's young. He should still be a junior. We should have another year with him.
Right.
But man, you should have started him at school later. But he's really physically matured, and expect great things out of him. And then Rasheem Jackson will be that other linebacker primarily that just a worker, great kid, very smart, and again has had a great offseason.
And just looking at this group as a whole, I know a lot of different ways you guys could decide to attack. There's a lot of teams that look at this and say, hey, we're sending 3 or 4. Every time we feel comfortable with those guys getting home, we're sent back playing coverage. But you also look, you say, hey, we've got 4 really good defensive backs. We can send some heat and feel comfortable that if the offense is able to squeak something out, it's not going to go for something big. When you guys are looking at this right now, which way are you kind of leaning?
All of the above, and then it depends on a situation, who you're playing, all the things. But that is what when it comes to schematics for me now, I let my guys do it completely. I let Galen call the defense. I let AJ call the offense. There are a few things that I want, and we will be. On offense, we will be able to go under center. We will be able to line up and pound the football. We will put in some way, shape, or form, we're going to put a fullback in there with a tailback, and we're going to be able to go after it. It may not be the eye, but you understand what I'm saying.
You can run ISO from a lot of different
ways. Right. You can do it in all kind of different ways, but we're going to be able to run real football.
Right.
Defensively, I want us to be multiple enough that we're not pigeonholed, so that we can, bring a lot of heat and play a certain scenario, or we can sit back and play, just a sound, I guess, boring defense too. So we will take each opportunity and do the best we can with it. So right now we really don't have, I mean, as much as we can go get it, sending LaDamian and Cam after a quarterback is pretty good, But, there'll be times when we play it more safe, and if the other side's guessing, that makes it even better.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back talk about this really, really special schedule we have coming up this season. You're talking about that, letting your guys call the schematics, and that's their jobs. But when you're in a game, you have so many thousands of hours of not just watching football, but coaching football on the sideline. You have a feel for sort of stuff. Is that when you maybe come over and say, hey, guys, this is when we need to do X, Y, or Z?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I definitely interject pretty all the time.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. And I've tried to do it in a way that I liked when I was a coordinator, and I called both offense and defense. And you don't step in and interrupt their rhythm, right? What you do is you try to give those, pick the moments that you're giving them. I messed that up when I first gave up the defense to Galen, and we came to blows on the sidelines. We've had that conversation before, but we came to blows, and I realized he was right. I just kept messing. He's trying to, and what it came down to, you'll understand, is he had his guys showing one thing,
roll into another,
and then roll into another, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, do I need to call it? I'm ready to call a timeout because I think we're not covering down and all that. And he took his headsets off and said, if you want me to call it, I'll call it. There were other words in there. If you want me to call it, I'll call it. If not, I'll give it back to you. And I turned around and I walked and went on the other side. I just said, I'm messing with him. He's got to be able to call it. I tell them all the time, like, that they're parts of the practice schedule. I dictate a lot of the practice schedule, but they're parts of the practice schedule. And I'll say, team offense. Well, that's 20 minutes. That's theirs. Like, I don't know, man. It's your brain. You decide what you need.
Right.
So there are definitely times where I interject, but I try to not mess up their rhythm because I hated that when I was calling. Like, I put so much thought into this, and now, let me get into that rhythm.
The situation I think back on just this past college football year was that Georgia game where it went to the bazillion overtimes.
Right.
And it was the 2-point conversions, and I'm sitting there thinking, first team that runs the football is going to win because they were just trying to throw on every 2-point conversion. And I got on Twitter, and all the football coaches, somebody run the ball, somebody run the ball, somebody run the ball. Georgia finally ran the ball. Georgia ended up winning that football game. But it's just that situation where as a CEO, you come over and you go, let's try to run on this one.
Yeah. No, and I definitely do that. Definitely, I will do those things, and I will say, hey, let's run this ball here.
Yeah.
Let's whatever the scenario may be. Hey, let's we need to go after the quarterback. Those sort of things, and that's much better than coming in and saying a specific. Run the. Come on now. You run the specific thing or whatever. So yes, definitely there's those moments.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back, talk about the upcoming season. We got Camden coming up next Friday, and then we're going to get into the regular season with a massive game that has statewide attention. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Kenny Granger from Cash and Carry. We're a family-owned business right here in Savannah. We have sections of vehicles that really make it all simple. You'll get a printout of where the vehicle's at, the color of the vehicle. We really want them to be able to come in the yard and find out right where they need to be. The average savings would be at least 70, 80, could be even 90% compared to original manufactured parts. So you can come to a place like Cash and Carry and find the parts that you need at an extremely reasonable price. We'd love for you to come check us out.
Welcome to Sandnat Golf Carts, where luxury meets quality. We offer a wide selection of top-notch custom golf carts to suit your every need. With our extensive inventory, you're sure to find the ride of your dreams. Plus, our flexible financing options make it easier than ever to drive one off the lot today. Whether you're cruising the neighborhood or joyriding with the family, Sandnat Golf Carts is here to provide exceptional service every step of the way. Visit us today to elevate your ride.
Criminal defense, family law, DUI, and divorce. You need representation. The one to call is Savannah's own Jonathan V. Dunn, PC, attorney at law. Voted a Thomson Reuters super lawyer consecutively since 2023. Online at jvdattorney.com.
Plan your hunting getaway and escape to experience the beauty of Mossy Pond. Our diverse property right here in Pierce County allows you to enjoy various types of hunts, including plantation-style quail, hog, pheasant, and flooded timber-style duck hunts, all within 24 hours. At the center of it all, experience scenic, rustic, beautiful, and inviting amenities like luxury lodging, our first-class pro shop, fine dining, and the perfect event space. Book now and see why Mossy Pond Lodge is Georgia's premier hunting paradise.
Cool Vibes Pizza and Wings is one of Savannah's most popular. Could be the New York style pizza, or the pasta, or sandwiches, or wings. Whatever you choose, Cool Vibes has their own unique style. Check them out at 4501 Montgomery Street, Savannah.
Welcome back to BowTie Barbecue. Christian Gokel alongside Danny Britt here as we're getting ready just a week out from opening scrimmage against Camden County. And, Coach, we'll have next week to really talk about that. But what are y'all's goals going into a scrimmage like that?
You know, the goal is to get better and to very specific goals, like we want to see us be physical in the front on the offensive line. We want to see us be physical as an offense, period. We want to see us be able to transition from different formations and be smooth without penalties, without being sloppy.
Right.
You realize there are things that are going to happen that I mean, the timing may not be exactly right, those sort of things, but it not look sloppy. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
You know, same thing defensively. You want to see us be able to talk, communicate, make the checks, get lined up. Again, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe we give up, you know, leverage or something, but those are all very coachable things. Right. You want to see us being very physical and flying to the ball. So those very obvious and specific things are what you're trying to get to with that first scrimmage.
And I've always heard it's kind of like the on-ramp where it's you guys have been hitting each other. And it's just as much as you want to say everybody's football players are going to go full speed at practice, you don't hit your running back quite as hard as you're going to hit the other team's running back. So before you jump in to the first game of the season, a little bit of a ramp up.
Oh, definitely it will be a ramp up. And what we try to do, I don't like a ton of contact, like full speed contact. I like close range contact, controlled contact, but like going live. So the most we've gone live at this point would be 10 minutes. I mean, a 10-minute running clock.
Right.
We'll build up a little bit, you know, today and tomorrow and go a little bit longer. And then next week we'll try to do some stuff without all that big time contact. So yes, you get to that scrimmage and it's amped up, the emotions. And then, so that's that first time of really, you know, elongated physical extreme contact. So that helps for that first game.
Now, Coach, looking at the schedule, I know you're preparing 1 week at a time, one opponent at a time, but as a football fan in general, it's got to be pretty cool to be playing a schedule like this where you're going to Colquitt. You have Buford coming down to Savannah, a couple of games right there that are going to get stationed, if not national attention, just the amount of players that are going to be on the field that'll be playing on Saturdays. But then you also have a really fun trip up to Westminster and then just an amazing slot against a really, really talented 4A region that you have going on. Oh, and by the way, throw in Franklin Stevens and Burke County in there as well, which is AD Jack Holland said has really kind of become a rivalry game between you two. It's an unbelievable schedule, and I think for fans, one that you got to dream about.
Yeah, it definitely is. I wish we had another home game, but unfortunately that's not where we're at. But I mean, going to Colquitt County is big time. I mean, that's I saw where people are putting it as, you know, one of this year's state games to watch. You know, it's very exciting for me because that's where I'm from. One of my sisters and her husband still live there. My nieces and nephew graduated from Colquitt County, so I know what kind of program they are. I know I've been in that stadium when it was packed and 15,000 people, and it's so it's exciting to go there. And you know, they're a good football program, good teams. So are we. So you know, and then having Buford come here. You know, that's going to be a major game, and I know they're going to be very good. And we snuck up on them a little bit last year. It won't happen again. You don't sneak up on somebody twice. So you know,
but now you're going to have them down in the sand nets. So
that's right. Hopefully the sand nets will be out. And hopefully we'll have a huge crowd, and they'll tailgate for hours before and be really loud for us.
I think there's no doubt that place is going to be packed out. Just looking at the schedule, Coach, I kept looking at it. I was like, there's just something about it. I think what it's come to is every program on this schedule is a program that really cares about football.
Right.
There's a lot of good teams, but that just might be something that the fans do on Friday night.
Right.
All of these teams are 365 teams, and I
Right.
think BC has been that and has become the predominant team in Savannah that is about that. But you talk about Moultrie, that's 365
Right.
out there. They're talking about Colquitt football. Buford just built a $65 million football stadium.
Right.
You think they're talking about football 365?
All the
So,
time.
I mean, it's every single team, the Perrys, the Warner Robins, it's all about football. I mean, playing in the environments like that is awesome.
Yeah, it's big time. It's big time South Georgia football, and that's about as good as it gets in the country.
Right.
And we're playing all of them, it seems like. So, that is what it is. It's real big time football. It's big programs. I get very frustrated with the media, and I get it. You got to spread things out and make everybody happy, but they don't. I think some people don't understand that. They don't understand. They're talking about a big time game and it's two local teams. I mean, these people are playing, from what I understand, I don't know this for fact, but Colquitt County's boosters raise $1 million a year.
Don't doubt it. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is big time stuff,
Yeah.
guys. This isn't, it's such a different thing, but that's what we've chosen to do. The kids, we've talked about it. The kids understand that and they want it. They really want it. They want serious football. And we had kids come over for that reason.
Listen, my fiance's from Alaska, and when I explained to her that from the end of July through January, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are kind of taken up.
Right.
She doesn't get it. She's like, maybe Sundays. I don't know.
No.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's about the pigskin. But, man, it's going to be an awesome season. I know I ask you this every year, but as you're waking up August 1st, is the feeling any different?
No, I mean, it's not. I still get very nervous. I get uptight. Steph, actually, before, last weekend, and, as we're leading into the actual start of football, I was trying to talk to her, and she said, never mind, just forget it. Football's about to start. And I was dialed in. You can't help it. It's different. I don't know that I'll ever change. I mean, even one day, I don't know. She just retired, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire. I may just die. But if I do retire, I feel like it won't matter. I'm still going to wake up, that time and just have that feeling of, things are tightening up and it's time to go to work and it's exciting. So, I still love it. Still have a lot of energy for it.
I tell you what, people are worried about a lot of things, having to worry about if you guys are going to have a good cover 2 shell.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to worry about.
That's right. No doubt.
Well, again, we got a really exciting season coming up. You'll be able to catch us here every Thursday at noon. We're in the AC right now, Coach.
I know. It's so much better.
They upgraded us a little bit this year. We'll see where we're at. We're at BowTie Barbecue here in Savannah. Either we're going to be on the patio or we're going to be right here inside the front door. So come out, hang out with us noon every Thursday. And again, Kevin Thomas and myself will be on the call. And, Coach, before we get you out of here, our friends over at Able Items and More, very big supporters of BC football, got a little message.
Yeah, definitely. A big thanks to our friends at Abel's Iron On More and Associates, proud supporters of our team, our community, and your financial future. No commissions, no sales pitch, just honest, thoughtful guidance built around you. Insight, perspective, results. Contact Abel's Iron On More and Associates and tell them Coach Britt sent you.
Coach, excited for it, man. Can't wait to get to it. I know Colquitt County will be here before we know it.
Yep, very excited, and let's go to work.
BowTie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. BowTie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
When it comes to blocking all the obstacles that life throws your way, let Vernon Williams and Auto Owners Insurance help you dodge the hits, analyze the playing field, and run the ball all the way home. We shield you so you can have peace of mind when it comes to auto, home, life, or business insurance. As one of the oldest and most respected independent insurance agencies in the Southeast, we know what it means to stand behind the people we protect head on. Trust in the power of the shield since 1934. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.